to sharing the stories of the people who call the greater West Bloomfield a community a home. It helps when you turn on your mic in the morning. I only had 2 cups of coffee though, Calvin. Give me a break. Hey, great. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. We so appreciate your time. Hey, we want to let you know about our very first guest this morning. He is someone who's been dedicated to our community. Greg Miller. He volunteers his time year after year ensuring Sylvan Lake veterans are honored on Memorial Day. And Greg has a story of service himself. When he was young, Greg signed on the line and took an oath to defend the United States Constitution. He served in the Navy from 1975 to 79 and then went on into the military to take advantage of the GI Bill. But his years of service provided him with an experience you cannot find in a textbook. Greg, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
And thank you too, Ronnie.
Can I start off by saying thank you so much for your service?
You can, and thank you, and that's why we're doing this, to thank the other veterans that have served. And so Memorial Day is, really to honor the vets that have passed in wars. But so Veterans Day is a cold day in November, and we wouldn't get many people out to recognize people. So we take advantage of the better weather that we've got on Memorial Day. We have a parade, and then we have the recognition ceremony for the living Sylvan Lake residents who are veterans, to be recognized by the people that gather for the parade. And just because the weather is nice, hopefully, and it's, it just seems to work out better than trying to do something on Veterans Day.
So, and can I ask you, when you signed on that dotted line so many years ago, how did your time in your service change your life?
So I had done 1 year in college. I didn't really know what I wanted to do for a career. I was just, a year out of high school, and I knew that I loved sailing and I loved being out on the water, and I had some kind of a wild dream that I was going to learn navigation and get a job on some rich guy's sailboat and sail around the world.
So that didn't work out for you, though.
Well, I did learn I was in navigation in the Navy. That's what I got into. I signed up for that. I was quartermaster school. Quartermaster in the Navy is navigation, as opposed to in the Army, that's more supply related. So that's why I signed up for that, their school for that, and went through boot camp and navigation school out in San Diego in December. So, I got into a little better weather. And then I went through a submarine school up in Groton, Connecticut, but decided there wasn't much navigation on a submarine. And I did get a surface ship assignment to the USS Truckee, which was an oiler refueling other Navy ships out of Norfolk, Virginia. At the time, oilers in the Navy were all named after Indian rivers. So the Truckee is a river that flows into Lake Tahoe out in California-Nevada border. And so we would refuel other ships underway at sea, which was quite an experience. But going back to your question, one of the things that I learned, here I was a young guy volunteering, taking advantage of the GI Bill to help pay for college. And maybe, I think that I matured a lot, grew up, the responsibility that you're, the Navy expects, and if you just, that's what you do. You develop those habits so that when difficult times came up in the Navy, you learned how to deal with it as a part of a group. You've got kids from all over the country, different geographic, socioeconomic backgrounds. And we had the common bond of being Americans in the Navy and something bigger than ourselves. And we had, whatever our individual interests were, like mine was maybe learning to to navigate and being out on the water, but some kids may have been just they didn't know what they were doing either, and so we're all kind of figuring it out as we were there together. And but at the same time, we're doing that for our country, and we took pride in how our ship compared to other ships in the Navy, and how our Navy compared to other navies, and also that I don't want to sound hokey, but that the other parts of the world look to the United States to ensure their freedoms. And it felt good being welcomed when we went into ports. And an example is we did a Mediterranean cruise to be part of some different either U.S. or NATO exercises in the Mediterranean. And there were Russian ships out watching us almost all the time, kind of keeping an eye on us and spying and stuff. So the Iron Curtain hadn't fallen yet, and this was after Vietnam in 1977. That we felt that, and we also enjoyed working with the other NATO navies that we had to work together in those exercises, and it's a good opportunity to make sure that we could do that, because there's all sorts of things to work through. So like I was saying, we're part of something bigger than ourselves, and I think that's that citizenship, the feeling that you're doing something for the country, taking that pledge to defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, is that was important founding or helped me figure out who I was, what I was about, what was important to me. Part of that came from my dad had been in the Army, my grandfather had been in he was Canadian and lived and was in the Royal Air Force. My stepfather was in the United States Navy and was over in the Pacific during World War II. And I always had looked up to the people that I knew in my life that were older, that had served in the military, whether they'd been in war or, Vietnam had just recently concluded, and that there was a lot of people that I knew, whether they're tangentially or, or in the neighborhood or whatever, that had served. And I always thought that took a lot of courage, and so it's like I can do that too, I guess. I see the examples that other people have set, that I can follow that example, and I was proud to be able to do it. So going back to it's nice to be able to recognize the veterans that we've got in our community for what the sacrifices, the contributions, and the examples that they set.
And we forget so much too about the personal sacrifice, just the day-to-day living and the impact it can have on the entire family.
Right. And I didn't serve during, I wasn't in actually a war or anything like that. I can only imagine the stress that obviously puts on the person that's in there, in the battle, but also the family, as you say, the family at home, not knowing what's going on. I can tell you that I always enjoyed getting a care package from my mom, or whatever it was, pictures, cookies, just keeping me up to date with what happened with Michigan football or whatever it was. That connection was always important, and hearing from friends that they're keeping track and proud, and going back to why did I sign up on the dotted line initially. I had two friends from high school that had already gone into the Navy in the navigation quartermaster school. You kind of get that, guaranteed by the recruiter that, you're not going to end up doing something that really you hadn't had the interest in doing. So that helped form my desire to want to do that. And there's all sorts of different tasks that, working with electronics, that, the job prospects for somebody that gets that training in the military can go out into the world and in the general market and have that skill set and be very employable. All sorts of things, aircraft support, pilots, you name it. And the skill set that you learn to be able to take direction, follow orders, get things done as part of a big group of people working together. Besides, it's got its own rewards of doing that, just like being a part of a team, right? That it also helps in my career. I worked in IT for EDS and then Hewlett Packard. I'm retired now, but it helped me inform me to get through, when things look tough and there was a lot of challenges. Okay, let's just break it down, figure it out, and work together and get it done and collaborate. And those are skills that I learned in the Navy. Yeah.
And I think about how it changed your outlook on life, and from a world platform, even to what we're seeing today taking place in Ukraine. You talked about NATO.
Right. So the one of the exercises we were in was in the northern Aegean, which is by the Bosporus Straits that leads into the Black Sea, where that's where Odessa and Mariupol are. We were part of a NATO task force. Display Determination, I think, was the name of the exercise, and we we're working with NATO, the NATO ships, and the weather was really bad too. We were getting tossed around pretty good. I don't know if you have access to the pictures that I had sent over, but there was a couple of them. One of the pages had some pictures of a destroyer. So we're doing refueling, and we're carrying 9 million gallons of fuel, between diesel marine fuel, and maybe that's the majority of it, and then diesel jet propulsion JP5 fuel for the aircraft. And we might send over 4 lines to an aircraft carrier or a couple lines to a destroyer and pump them. An aircraft carrier, we could give them 3 million gallons of diesel marine fuel and 1 million gallons of JP5 in, say, 4 hours. But the little destroyers, they would be bouncing around like you could see the bottom of the hull 1 second, and then the total bow is underwater the next second. So it's the challenges for people on those destroyers. Can you imagine sitting down to eat? What we do is put a wet napkin under your tray so it wouldn't, and then hold on to it so it wouldn't slide off and the food on it. Or just have a sandwich or something. There was all sorts of challenges that it was like just one big grand adventure, and maybe I just wasn't smart enough to look at like, this could be really dangerous. I always thought it was fun. It's like, they wouldn't do anything that would have really hurt us, would they? So.
Oh. Yeah, I bet you have a lifetime of stories just from those few years, but I know that you've also been very passionate and dedicated to connecting with other veterans, and especially in Sylvan Lake. What do you get out of being a part of the Memorial Day service?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was just talking to one of the guys last night, and he's got some great stories that, he was served in the Navy off of Vietnam on a hospital ship, and, a lot of them, it's like, I'm familiar with the environment that he's talking about, but I don't know the particulars. And they're always interesting stories. And it's so much of it is human nature, and how do you read, the commanding officer, or, on what kind of a mood does he set for everybody, or, what we were faced with this situation, and how did we handle it? So we share that bond where we've had common experiences that we can relate to, and not everybody can. So it's nice to be able to find people that you can and share that. And I encourage people that know veterans to ask them questions like that, because I think it's interesting. I guess that I approach life with a curiosity, wanting to, well, what motivated, or what was going on there? What was funny? What was interesting? What did you gain from it? What was your contribution that enriches our lives, right?
I love that you do that, and that's the great thing about the ceremony in Sylvan Lake, because it does introduce a new generation to those that have done so much for our freedom, and it keeps that conversation going.
Right, and just to make sure that we cover this, that the recognition celebration is on Memorial Day at our Sylvan Lake Veterans Park, that's on Garland and Pontiac Drives. There's a parade for the kids earlier at 11:30, and then right after that, so just shortly after 11:30, right there at Veterans Park, when there's a lot of the community there, and they get an opportunity to see the veterans in their community. Right? I
love that. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. We appreciate it. We want to keep you and all the others on the forefront, not just Memorial Day, but every day. And, let the new kids know what this holiday means. It's so much more than, just getting out on the lake and enjoying the barbecue. So thank you again, and thank you for recognizing others that have served as well.
And Ronnie, thank you for and your crew there for taking the time to include us in this, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break here on The Splash. When we come back, we will go over a few events going on in the community, and also check in with the township treasurer to talk about a cool art program that's going on here in the area. That's next on The Splash.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine. To keep safe and strong. Be happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Hey, so this time of year can be a little bit difficult because the kids are starting to look forward to summer break. But if you're looking for something different to do with the kids, keep them off their electronic devices, Kid Create Studio may be just the thing for you. So try it out on Thursday, May 19th. Studio time allows your young artist to create a masterpiece. They have 4 art stations that will be set up, offering various materials to help spark your child's imagination. The theme this week is rainbows and butterflies. Pre-registration is required. You can find out more at kidcreate.com. Also, maybe, I don't know, painting isn't your thing. It's a little too messy, maybe? Well, there's always music as well. Kids Commotion Summer Concert Series is happening at Marshbank Park on Hiller Road in West Bloomfield. Live music, free inflatables, and lots of fun. Bring your blanket and lawn chairs. It starts tomorrow at 5 p.m. I always love concerts in the park. It's so much fun. Hey, quickly too, we want to remind you, if you know someone making a difference in the community, let us know. Just send us an email, go to civiccentertv.com and share their information. That way we can honor them. We like to do that because we know it takes special people to make our community so special. You're watching The Splash Live, your local channel sharing stories from West Bloomfield, Keiko Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake. And of course, you can catch the show live Monday through Friday starting at 9:30 and on demand at civiccentertv.com. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
We want to say thank you for taking time to be with us again on this Wednesday. You know, some days you just wake up and you're like, I need a reset button. That's me today. It started off by not turning on the mic and then some last minute guest shuffling. So we're trying to get Teri from the West Bloomfield Township's office to come on with us to talk about the cool event that's going to be happening around town. The DIA's Inside Out program. It's really cool. They've had it throughout the area in years past, but they bring the reproductions into the community. So you get to experience the art. You don't have to go all the way to Paris. You don't have to go to the Louvre. You can get it right here in West Bloomfield. So if we get Teri, we'll be talking about that. If not, again, just want to remind you that we have a lot of things going on here in the community. The native plant sale, we have been telling you about that because I don't know about you, but for me right now, once the grass starts to get green and all the flowers start to bloom, I get very excited and very eager to try to spruce up my yard. And so with that, we want to let you know that the West Bloomfield Parks Native Plant Sale is going to be taking place this Saturday, May 21st. It happens from 9 until noon, but you do have to pre-order online. So you want to remember that it's curbside, but you can't just pull up. You need to go ahead, go online, and you can do that until tomorrow. Keep in mind quantities are limited on that event. So with that, it looks like we probably are not going to be able to get Teri. So hopefully we'll.
She's coming up?
Oh, well, maybe she is.
Yeah, we'll get to her.
So also if we can, Calvin, go ahead and pull up the QR code.
Yeah, of course.
What a fun day. Hey, so again, we like to recognize and honor those that are in our community. So you see this code? Hey, we're high tech over here at the Splash Live. So you take your phone and you just put it up to it and it's going to scan it and open it. And that's going to bring you to a page. It's like a Google Docs. And then you just go in and fill out that information. Tell us about the person that you would like to recognize and give us that information because we would like to do that here on The Splash. So it looks like we have Teri now. Teri, thank you. You know, it's one of those days.
Yes, it has been one of those days.
Can we get a reset button?
That would be great.
Well, Teri, we appreciate your time so much. Hey, because just so you guys know that this was like literally a last-minute ad, so thank you so much. But you were a part of in bringing this indoor out program into the area. What did that take?
So it's so interesting because Debbie Binder, our clerk, and I were talking about the fact that we thought it would be so nice if there was art in our community. I was like, a number of years ago, I think there was some sort of a DIA program. And then we get contacted by Jennifer Tucker and Kathy Russ, from Parks and Recs and the library. And they're like, hey, would you guys want to be a part of this program? We have to submit an application. We're like, absolutely. So the 4 women here, on the Township Hall campus got together and we created an application, and Kathy submitted it for us and we were chosen. So we're really excited. We did ask if we could have some diverse works of art, and our request, it was granted. So we're so excited to be having the DIA Inside Out here in West Bloomfield again, because it's been a number of years.
So how does it work? Where is it going to be placed?
Sure. So how it works is first they send somebody out, and I believe her name was Amanda, and she walked around the different areas with us and went to see the locations we thought would be the best. So we actually have a map, and I know for sure it's on the Parks and Recs website, and it shows which work of art is going to be at which location. So we wanted to put some out in nature and then put some in places that people just would visit, because we figure if they go there and they see a really nice work of art, they're going to say, are there others in the community? And it's almost like a little bit of a mini scavenger hunt to find the different works of art. So at the Parks and Rec building, we have the hazelnuts, which is one of my all-time favorite works of art. My kids I have 2 girls, so my 2 girls always thought it was just kind of cool. Then at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, we have Blue Madonna, which is a very interesting piece. We have at the West Acres Branch Library actually a photographic image called The Night Shift, which is a photo from the Pontiac Assembly Plant. At Marshbank Park, we have I don't know how to pronounce this. We have a Vincent van Gogh painting.
That's okay, we're good.
At the West Bloomfield Woods Nature Preserve on Arrowhead, so that's, the Rails to Trails network, we have Winter Landscape and Moonlight. And then at Drake Sports Park, we have one that probably a lot of people have heard of, the Wedding Dance. So we ended up with a very nice variety that kind of encapsulates both our diversity in terms of ethnic makeup, religious backgrounds. They really tried to give us a nice mix of, types of art. We have landscapes, we have portraits, we've got photography. Some of it's historic, some of it's newer. So I really feel like we had a really good selection, and we're very excited about it. And then what's great when you partner with Kathy Russ from the library and Jennifer Tucker from Parks, you get programming. So what's really exciting too is the DI Inside Out program now has some adjacent programming events.
That's so cool. We'll put all that information and link it to the website. I know it's on the Parks website as well, and we have the map. Teri, I want to say thank you. I'm so sorry we didn't get you on earlier because you're texting. I'm in the show. I can't answer, so I so apologize. But thank you. But
I just was honored to be asked on your show again. So it's always nice to see you.
You too, and I love that you guys did this for our community. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
That's going to wrap it up for the Splash Live. We'll be back tomorrow bright and early.